for Physics 131 with David Weaver. My name is Carlo Rotalo, and let's go. So this semester was pretty interesting. We have done a lot. We spent a lot of time in this class, in and out. In the syllabus, you say that we need like 12 hours um, in your expectations, 6 hours in, 6 hours out of class throughout the whole week to get an A or to do the required material. Um, so doing the math, I spent about the 12 hours every week on this class. Add some in one week, take some off in another, so it averages out. And for 16 weeks, that comes out to 192 hours, which is 8 days spent doing all of this stuff. And I've acquired a lot of pictures over the semester. So let's take a stroll down memory lane. We started the semester doing the tape project with charges and watching some funny videos, getting to know each other. We started messing with the castle kits a few weeks into class, and these were very interesting. I think I learned a lot from these about how to build circuits and how to picture it in my head. So I feel like I don't have any problems seeing circuits and building them. We talked about the flows of electrons, and we presented our findings and hypotheses to the classrooms. There's a lot of stuff that's random, but there's a lot of notebook pictures. These are some notes from the beginning, and some more random notes and work from week 4. I learned how to use a voltmeter this semester. I've used one before, but I never really listened to what it all does. But now I feel like I can actually know their functions, which is pretty cool because I found one the other day and it looks badass. It's way bigger than this, and it's really sensitive, and I can't wait to see like what I can do with that. We did our spiral kinematics, which were pretty interesting. At first they were a little hard to comprehend, but after some explaining, it made sense. We started messing with charges, and also I think this was our first project. So you can see everyone getting down, working on it, and here's some of the finished stuff. We had a speaker, and we were using the wrong coil. So we've learned some lessons throughout the semester. This one was really cool, the Game Boy with voice control. We worked a lot with our Arduinos this semester also. I think these were a good tool for us to learn about because they put the doing into the engineering, I guess. So now we actually know how to do some basic stuff, and hopefully it has piqued our interest enough to want to do more advanced stuff, which I really think it has. We have more notes, stuff to put on Prezis and other online stuff. This is when we're doing the charges and the electric field stuff. These are where the electric field is 0, and going off the spiral kinematics and what you showed us, for me it was really complicated, and I started looking around and I saw an easier way to do it, and I presented it to the class. That was cool for me to go up in front of everybody and show them a different method of doing certain things. As we keep going, we see Project 2 happening, and we see the power of putting batteries into series and how you can use that to power higher voltage things. I thought that was a really good lesson for me to learn and to see and comprehend. A lot more spiral kinematics and notes. some notes for my cultural de- or my scientific debate paper. Mine was about vegetarianism, and I really liked writing that paper. I read a lot of interesting things, and I feel like I did a pretty good job on it. This is our project 2 completed. It was an air cannon that was controlled with two water sprinkler valves, controlled by an Arduino. And we had it working at one point, but I don't know what happened with the Arduino, that it would just stop. It would work for a while and then it would stop, so we could never get it going correctly. Some other project 2s, this robot was cool. I saw them actually get it to work later on. This one was really neat. If they could have completed it, I would have been really impressed. We started seeing stuff about 3D printing, and I messed with the Tinkerbot and all that to try with the electromagnetic train. Here's a bunch of nails that I was going to use. But 3D printing, I think it was cool seeing the Tinkercad and the MakerBot in action. We had our did our interviews. Those were really interesting. They were different than any other form of like test that I've ever had before. It put a professional aspect into my engineering and how an engineering related interview might go, where I have to talk about a lot more in-depth things than just who I am and why I want to work here. I have to let people know that I understand material and that I'm willing to put in the work to get everything done and get done correctly. This is us working on the electromagnetic train. We messed up and our magnets weren't strong enough, and we spaced them out too much so that they wouldn't float they wouldn't float evenly on top of each other, because they would want to collapse into the empty space. And we tried fixing it, but it never really worked out. I made a little drawing for my train that I was gonna 3D print. Here's the MakerBot, and it was it was interesting using it. I started looking up how to do certain things because it was weird. There's some things I never really figured out, but with some more practice, I think I could learn to use this very well. I think it's an amazing tool that can be used to create a lot of neat things on a small scale that could be built up to a larger scale. This is all towards the end of the semester. We start talking about magnetism again, or not again. We finally start with magnetism, and Lenz's law has been like present in a lot of my projects, and I never even knew it. But what it says is that changing B fields or magnetic fields, like this magnet going down this tube, creates a change in voltage, a change in current, and that creates uh, an opposing magnetic field. That explained why this magnet would fall slowly down this tube, and I related it a lot to my um, EMP stuff, and how it's how this actually works. With the Compton effect, causes the oxygen and nitrogen to lose electrons from ones that are attached very weakly, so they're easy to knock off. That's what the electromagnetic radiation does, or the gamma rays do, and that those ejected electrons start flying down towards us, which is a changing voltage, and it interferes with Earth's magnetic field, and it creates, just like Lenz's law, it creates changing current in our grid. Everything that has electronics in it it will all experience a changing voltage, which will usually fry the item, and that's what EMPs are, which was what our final project ended up being. This is just a little video of us messing with the disposable camera and its flash, and we actually got the EMP to work, and I'm really proud about that. That's a little semester summary right there. And now let's talk about why I think I deserve an A in this class. I went through your syllabus, and I went through the required A materials, and I've summarized it all right here. So I feel like I complied with the contract grading requirements for an A. I never had you tell me I wasn't really meeting your expectations. I know I turned some stuff in late, but I feel like it's better than turning in a lot of BS and copying other people's work. And I feel like you can agree with me on that one. I submitted all the work. I did all my discussions, and I added to the conversation with the necessary 8 comments. I completed all my weekly summaries, and I incorporated A-worthy material into them. I talked about how much time I spent, I showed a lot of pictures, and I made connections and related it back to my life. I completed my cultural science paper in ways that I believe should earn me an A. It was 2 pages long, which was the requirement, and I added to the conversation that the show talked about. I completed my controversial debate paper. I complied with the word count. I backed up my facts with good sources. And I honestly believe that I write college level papers, so I don't see any problems there. I complied with all the stuff you and the writing center told me to change. I fixed my bibliography and my the way I cited it in throughout the paper. And I'm in the process of completing all the comments on other people's papers. I did not miss very much class time, and I engaged in the discussion throughout the whole semester. A good example of that is how I presented a different method to solve for spiral kinematics. Like, I think that shows a correlation as to how engaged I could actually get with this class, that I was trying to educate others also. So I think after this and everything else is submitted and I complete my final interview, hopefully my final interview will be good enough to give me the A that I think I deserve. Thanks for listening, David, and this is me signing out.